tutorial. In this Pixelmator tutorial, I am going to show you how to create an effect that I've recently done in an app called Enlight, and it is a double exposure effect. So basically, we're going to have this, as you can see on the screen, I've got this polar bear, a PNG polar bear, so there's no background to it. And this background layer here, these trees and snow, and we're going to double expose the trees and that coming through the polar bear, and it's quite a cool effect. Some of you might have seen it before. If you want to do this to another shape or another image or yourself, you know, you can do it to do it to people and apply the effect to your own pictures. Then all you're going to have to do beforehand is your main image, or mine's of the polar bear, is you're gonna have to just go around it and cut it out. Quite a simple thing to do. You just do it here with the lasso tool, and you just cut around your image and then cut it out and save it as a layer. So that's quite simple. Okay, so let's get on. So I've got these two images in my layers up here. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to just turn this polar bear off for a second, and I'm going to click the little plus button in my layers here, and it will create a new layer. If you haven't got your layers, you can go view and then hide or show layers. So you can press Command 2 if you like, I suppose. So Command 2 will hide or show you layers. But we've got this new layer here, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a gradient to this new layer, or this top layer that I've got at the moment. For this, I'm going to need my my layers palette. So it's Command 7, I do believe, which will give you your styles. Styles palette, and then sorry, I'm going to need my gradient. So Command 5, that one is. So it's good. It's good that you get to learn these keyboard shortcuts by my mistakes. And I'm just going to use this default one here, this ice white default sort of layer that everybody's got, and I'm just going to drag down. It really doesn't matter about the angle of the layer or the way it is. You know, you can. It's just personal preference. You can put it as you like. So that layer is quite simple there. I'm just going to go back to my selection tool, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag that. We're going to call that the white layer, shall we? So double click to rename, call it the white layer or whatever you want to call it, and then that white layer, I'm going to drag it to the bottom of the layers. Okay, so this background layer is going to go above the polar bear, and then I'm going to select the polar bear. Now what we're going to do, obviously you can't see the polar bear. I just turned it on with a little tick. You can't see the polar bear because it's behind the background layer. This background layer here is at the top. But what we're going to do is create a clipping mask of this image using this as the clipping. Before, what you had to do, you had to go to this placeholder and press Command and left click on your mouse to select this image or the outside of this image. But now all you have to do is select the top image and right click and then create clipping mask, and it will create a clipping designated by this little arrow here of the layer below it. So now what I'm going to do with this background layer, and all I've got, if I turn this off, you see there's nothing there because I've just created a clipping of the shape of this layer below it, this polar bear. Now what I'm going to do, what I can do with this background layer, select it, and I can move it to a place that I'm happy with, that I think, yeah, looks okay. And this is where roughly I want a few trees and a few mountains in there, and a bit of snow. So you can see it's very sort of a wintry type theme. And then what I'm going to go and do, I'm going to go to my blending mode, and I'm going to go blend screen blend. Now there's other blend modes that you could use. You could use lighten, I suppose, which gives quite a nice effect. Or you could even use maybe multiply, which will make it darker, and color burn again, which will keep it dark. But it's totally down to you what preference. I'm just using screen, just in this instance here. Now what you can do is you can turn the opacity down a little bit just to show more of the polar bear. If you turn the opacity up, you see it takes away some of the, you didn't see the, it just gives you a bit more of the polar bear. So it's totally up to you. And you could even, if you wanted to, scale this polar bear up a little bit so it's a little bit bigger, so it looks a little bit better. Like so. It's quite nice getting these footprints in, I suppose. yeah, looks quite good. And I'm just going to click OK on this little button up here. And I'm going to select both of these layers and I'm going to move them at the same time, just so I want the polar bear a little bit higher in the picture, but I want to move the I want that layer to stay where it is in the background. So select off them, so you just deselected them. So this is our basic double exposure sort of effect. So let's just add a few more things to it. So it's very, very simple, very easy in Pixelmator. Whereas if anybody's seen the Enlight app one, that's quite difficult to do. Quite an advanced tutorial. Well, this is quite simple within Pixelmator because obviously a stronger tool, a more powerful tool. So now I'm going to right click on this polar bear and I'm going to duplicate or copy that polar bear and I'm going to drag it below my white layer. And now I'm just going to turn. No, I can leave it above the white layer actually, I should imagine. Let's have a look. And then I'm just going to not move that layer. I want to move this polar bear layer and turn that background layer off. And this polar bear layer, this one here, I'm going to go edit and then flip vertical, so it's gone upside down. Now I'm just going to just drag it down below the polar bear, so we've just got a nice sort of reflection. And then I'm going to rotate it slightly. If you haven't got, say for instance it's like this, if you've got it selected like this and you can't rotate it, all you've got to do is press Command with that layer selected, the one that you want to rotate, Command F, and it will allow you to rotate and manipulate this layer around to where you want it, like this. Yeah, like this. Just and then once you're done, just click the OK button up here. I've just got my app on full screen mode, that's all. And then what I'm going to do with this polar bear copy selected, let me just turn that background layer back on now. I'm going to again go to blending mode, and I'm gonna do not overlay, I'm gonna do a linear light, I think. Let's have a look. Is that a bit too much? Linear light, turn the opacity down. Let's have a look at vivid light. Might be a little bit better. Turn the opacity up a little bit more. I'm just going to have a look through these lights and see which one I prefer. Or these blending modes and see which one I prefer. Yeah, so I think hard light is probably going to be the better option for us, or for me, that which I prefer. And then leave it like so. Yep, hard light. And then what I'm going to do on this white layer, I'm going to drag these sunbeams onto this white layer. And then with this sunbeam generator, I'm going to change the color, select the color, and put a white sunbeam. I'm going to increase the sun radius like so, and drag it up to this corner. So you can't really see the sun. If it was a different color, let me show you. If the sun was a different color, like this, you would see it. But because it's white, you can't really see it, but you can see the sun strength. If you increase the strength and you increase the contrast, and then we go radius, you notice, let me just turn the strength down a little bit, contrast, and then time, you notice that we can now, we've got quite a nice effect with these white sunbeams coming off. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to drag the sunbeam. If you can't find this sunbeam in your effects, just go to your little search engine down here and type sun, and it'll come up with the sunbeam. I'm going to drag it onto the white layer again, but this time I'm going to drag it over this side, and I'm going to turn down the strength slightly, and the leave the contrast up. The radius, drag the radius down a little bit as well. Then I'm going to click OK, and that is me finished this sort of effect. So that's double exposure. It's a really cool, cool sort of effect that you can achieve in Pixelmator, and you can do it with your own images, and I don't know, a dragon with fire behind it, or a wolf with woods behind it, whatever, you can, or even yourself, with your birthday pictures behind you or whatever, you just got to use a bit of imagination. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it gives you some inspiration. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll be back again soon with more tutorials. Bye.